Hello everyone and welcome to today's Daily Splat. Now, it's been a while since I've done a football themed video, so here we go. This one is going to be football themed, so for those of you who I know who watch this and aren't massive football fans, you can turn this off now. It's it's pretty much all football from here on in, with the exception of I've seen some pictures of Baby Martini, or Jonathan as he is now known. Once again, congratulations to Helen and TJ, because he is one good-looking young little baby. He's got quite a lot of hair for a baby, I thought, so, well done. Anyway, football. So, it's the middle of November. The season started in the middle of August, which was 3 months ago. So, 3 months in, about a third of the way through the season, or getting there, thought it'd be a good time to have a look at the Premier League predictions which I made. Now then, the one that sort of stands out a bit as being a bit off was Arsenal. I predicted them to finish second. I actually said they might really challenge for the league title. Now, they have recovered. They had a really bad start, which, to be honest, I didn't think was going to happen. At the time, though, I did stress that the predictions were based on current squads, and at that time they still had Fabregas and they still had Nasri. And actually, when I did the Arsenal one, it was still a couple of weeks until those players moved. So, the squad changed quite dramatically, and then they just had that terrible start. And now they've recovered and they're in seventh. And I don't think they're going to finish lower than fifth. I'll be honest. I think they're as good as Newcastle have been. I think obviously they'll drop off. I don't think you'll see Newcastle in the top six, and I think they're a better team than Liverpool as well. I think Liverpool are on course to finish sixth, so there you go. So they'll definitely finish top five. They might have a bit of trouble with Tottenham though, who have been pretty brilliant. Obviously they had a bit of a rough start getting. They had to play Manchester United, Manchester City. There's both those teams flying at that time. They got tonked in both those games. And since then, though, they've been pretty decent. Obviously, they beat Liverpool 4-0. They beat Arsenal, playing very, very well and looking like a fairly decent team. Although my only problem with Tottenham, in terms of them challenging for, say, third, second, or even first, is I just think that they're one bad injury away from a few problems. They have got a really good squad, stronger than most, but I think particularly if it's a defender, if they lose one of their defenders to a long-term injury as it stands, I think they could be in a bit of trouble. Also, if they lost Luka Modric or Rafael van der Vaart, both of them have been fantastic, and they need to keep them fit as long as possible. Adebayor's done well for them as well. But yes, the Spurs have been fairly good, a little bit better than I thought. Obviously, Manchester City have been very good. I did say, they could finish third or fourth. Now, of course, they've started so well that, anything other than first would be an absolute disaster, surely. Yes, no, they've made an excellent start, but of course, we'll see how they go and how this... We're starting to see how this big squad is being rotated. When I say big squad, I of course mean squad of 25 pretty outstanding players that's being rotated. We're starting to see them used with the League Cup games and Champions League games and stuff, and we're seeing how it's rotated now. It's starting to work at the moment quite well, but of course they haven't really lost anyone to injury. That's quite surprising actually. Pretty much all the top sides haven't really lost anyone with a major injury yet. We're starting to see a couple now. Manchester United did without Chris Smalling, Michael Owen and Ashley Young for a couple of weeks with Knox, but we haven't seen any. We haven't seen I was going to say Fernando Torres, but we'll leave him for now. We haven't seen a David Silva or Wayne Rooney or Robin van Persie go out with an injury for a couple of months. So that's why I think that these sides have done so well so far, but of course we'll see how it goes. As for Manchester United, the 6-1 defeat aside, they've been good. They obviously had that really, really strong start, which was obviously quite good, and then we've started to see them play a bit more like United do at this time of the year, where they don't necessarily play brilliantly, but they're still winning games, grinding out games. The 2-0 win at Norwich, for example, stands out. The 1-0 at Sunderland, far from being classics, but they're still winning the games. Obviously, the 6-1 was very, very surprising, but given that 3 of those goals were scored in extra time, I think that was more a reflection of the United defenders who were still on the pitch, Evans. The United defenders who were still on the pitch losing their heads a bit. I mean, City were the better team that day and, deserved to win by the amount they did. Maybe not that much. But the point is, City did play very well in that game, and they have really come together quite well. And it'll be interesting to see if any of these other super rich teams in other leagues, the likes of PSG in France, or Ranzi, Machkalka, or how do you say that one in Russia, how they do, or even ones in Spain who bought Ruben Nistelrooy. Is it Malaga? I don't remember. There's a Spanish team that's been taken over by Qataris. It might be Malaga. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see if any of them can implement a good solid team the way Manchester City has in the similar space of time of about 3 seasons. Elsewhere, Chelsea, I've looked, they've been very strange. They've gone from being, woo, they're quite good in one game, to yikes, that's not very good the next. They've sort of switched between the two quite frequently. I still think they're very strong contenders for the title. I'd say as strong as Manchester United's chances. I would say also as strong as City's. They're, I think they're bits of the team starting to click, particularly Juan Mata. I think he has been a fantastic signing, and he's quite a player to watch. He's made Chelsea a bit more dynamic, and obviously Villas-Boas has implemented strategies to make them a bit more expansive and attacking. It hasn't been the best defending, but I think that's because Chelsea do need a bit of a clear out with their defence. The likes of John Terry are at their peak right now. They're not actually going to improve beyond this, and Terry himself is actually starting to slow down a bit. Ivanovic, whilst being a decent defender, has never really been a world-class defender. Jose Bosingwa, again, goes from being brilliant one game to not being great the other game. I think Ashley Cole just remains probably the best left-back in the world, or one of the best left-backs in the world. He has remained pretty much constant, and that's obviously a huge plus for them. So things for Chelsea there, troubles for them. I've just realised I've only got about 2 minutes left, because I like to keep these at 10 minutes. So I'll finish by talking about Newcastle, and we'll talk about the teams towards the bottom half of the table in the next video, or maybe in a couple of days. Anyway, Newcastle, they've been brilliant, and it's obviously some people are saying, well, they've had an easy start. Yes, but they've gone out and beaten those teams, or not lost to those teams, and obviously people are expecting these next 3 games against Manchester City, Manchester United and Chelsea to really test their mettle, and I think they could get something out of those games. I do think they're going to draw with City, because City obviously have to focus their efforts on beating Napoli in a few days' time in the Champions League. I think Newcastle are going to come in and hit them quite hard, and I think might get away from Eastlands with a draw. Anyway, that's the phone ringing, so I've got to go. Thank you all for listening. Bye-bye.